I understand that a lot of people are concerned about coronavirus. And I know that there is a lot of misinformation out there about coronavirus. So, for those of you who do not know, my name is Ashara Inaya. I am with Rebel House, which is a wellness company, and I provide wellness information from a scientific standpoint. So, the coronavirus, a lot of the misinformation that has been going around is based on the fact that they're calling it a new virus. So I just wanted to clear up the misunderstanding. A lot of folks are finding the term coronavirus on their cleaning products and so forth. Um, so, yes, coronavirus has been around for quite some time. As a matter of fact, SARS and MERS are two types of coronavirus. And the term new that they're using does not mean it's a new virus in general. It just means that this is a different or new strain. Okay. This strain of coronavirus has not been around before. All right. So SARS and MERS are two different strains of the virus. Okay. So that is one thing out of the way, pretty much, as far as the misinformation. I was also, sorry about that. I was also seeing a couple posts about traveling around on Facebook anyway, a few posts that tell people to keep their mouths or their throats moist. And they mentioned some other things, basically several basic things for preventing the spread or contraction of viruses of all kinds, washing hands and so forth. But it was really focused on preventing dryness of the throat. And I don't know what the source of it was, but basically, keeping the throat moist isn't something to become obsessed about, but staying hydrated in general is good for overall health and it helps to minimize certain problems. Okay, your body needs hydration and you want your body to be functioning optimally at all times. So, hydration will help um, in some way, shape, or form with prevention of certain illnesses, including contraction of viral infections to some degree. Now, don't go around saying that I said staying hydrated is going to stave off coronavirus. No. Okay. We're not taking it that far. It's helpful. That's as far as I'm going to take it. So, I just have a few, random facts here about the virus. As many of us know, it was basically an outbreak that started in China and definitely has sparked a lot of fear in a lot of different people. I'm seeing stories about it all over the place. People afraid. I've had some people contact me afraid about it and asking how to prevent contracting the virus. So the media has successfully made us very, very scared of this virus. And it also says people's psychological reactions to the infectious disease can sometimes be overblown and do more harm than good. And that's very true. So you don't want to just respond or react based on fear of possibly contracting it and have, you know, I can't say off the top of my head what kind of negative outcomes there might be um, as far as the fear factor. But fear can always bring about some kind of negative, even if it's just stressing yourself out unnecessarily about the slight possibility of contracting coronavirus. because it's really a slight possibility. The likelihood of you contracting it is very low. Um, and it says still preventative measures like increased hand washing and not touching your face help protect against coronavirus and other viruses, other illnesses in general. There's no doubt that it can spread, doctors say, um, even when people have no symptoms. So that is something to be aware of. There are there are reports of asymptomatic people, people who don't have any sign that they are infected with the virus, and that because this has an incubation period of several days, um, people can spread it even before any symptoms do start if they do become symptomatic. Okay, and that's something that is good to know, as far as if you are concerned in any way, shape, or form, and you want to try to do certain preventative things. Um, just understand that there's not always going to be a way to know if somebody's infected. And then here's some just basic information about what coronavirus is. I will not read it all, but I will say again that important things to do for helping to prevent contraction of the illness include basically all the proper hygiene protocols, like keeping your hands washed and keeping them out of your face. Frequently cleaning things like your cell phone. You are handling that phone several times a day. You're touching doorknobs and you're touching your phone. You're touching car door, car doors, and you're touching your phone. You're touching silverware at the restaurant or whatever, and you're touching your phone and possibly your food. And you hope that the silverware is clean, but the people who put the silverware out, um, you hope that they have washed their hands. So keeping things around like hand sanitizers, sanitizing wipes and things like that, that can be helpful. You can clean off those types of things as well as your phone as you go through your day. And even wearing a mask in enclosed and congested areas, especially those with poor ventilation like airplanes. Okay, that will be helpful. I just want to kind of scroll through some of this information here. Um, it's a new virus, quote unquote new. It's a new coronavirus. How about that? That would help people not be so confused about what is going on, right? If they just said it's a new coronavirus, okay? If they just put coronavirus, which they're plastering all over the place anyway, in front of the word new or after it or whatever, however that goes, okay? So it's a pneumonia-like virus, and so in a lot of cases, actually in most cases, pneumonia is bacterial, okay? But this is a pneumonia-like virus, so the symptoms are similar to the symptoms of pneumonia. And it doesn't seem to be as deadly as SARS either. So whereas there's so much scare, so much concern about it, it doesn't even seem to be as dangerous or deadly as the SARS virus, which killed a lot of people. However, it seems to be infecting people at a higher rate than SARS did. Okay, so but many people who have contracted it have already made full recoveries. Okay, so it's just good to keep in mind, because you can hear about, oh, people have died, but if you look at the total number of the people who have contracted the virus compared to the people who have actually died from it, it's very the number of deaths is very small. And one thing that they are not telling people, which drives me a little bit crazy, and it's very similar to, when you're talking about deaths related to the flu, okay? Most of the time, when people are dying from things like this, it is because their immune systems were already compromised. So we're talking about newborns, right? Children who are very young. And we're talking about elderly people, and we're talking about the folks in between, and including newborns and elderly people who have some type of illness already, so their immune system is compromised. Okay, so they're more susceptible to contracting it, and more susceptible to the um, most unwanted possible effect. Okay, which is death. Um, and this is just more information, more general information here. So I'll be kind of scrolling through some of this stuff and not really reading it, but I'll leave it up for a while so you can see it. Okay. And so some of this information that I'm going to go over, you'll just see, you'll see some of the images related to it later in the video. And what are the symptoms? Okay, again, it's like pneumonia, so it's most of the symptoms are related to your respiratory system, and it includes fever, coughing, difficulty breathing, and so forth. Some people also report fatigue. Some information about how it is spread, and they do suspect that although it began, or they think it began with an animal of some sort, now it can be passed from person to person, obviously, and probably in similar fashion to the flu or a cold, um, which would be through saliva droplets. Okay. So people who are sneezing, coughing, touching their mouths and face that has been in contact with saliva and touching other things, kissing, sharing foods, sharing drinks. Let's avoid all of those kinds of activities, sharing foods and sharing drinks. If you're concerned that someone might have been affected, you probably want to hold off on kissing him for a while, kissing that person for a while. Okay. That's just basic, right? Those are some of the same things you would do if you had a cold, right? So, or if you were trying to avoid catching a cold, rather. And again, the incubation period is very long, or several days. It can be up to 14 days before a person actually shows symptoms of having been infected. So that's good to keep in mind, because you might think, oh, this person seems fine. And then even after the 14 days, they may not ever have a symptom or show one. All right. And this says, as far as the doctors go, the main treatment for coronavirus is supportive care, including making sure the patient is getting enough oxygen and using a ventilator to push air into the lungs. And that is really if the symptoms are that severe where they have to have something like that. So these are just there are a range of different supportive services or supportive care measures that can end up having to be provided. And obviously, rest and drink plenty of fluids. This is good for overall health in general. And when you are dealing with or possibly have been infected by a virus of any sort, rest is imperative. Rest is very, very, very important. It is imperative that you rest. All right. Don't, however, choose rest over other important things like eating. I know that can be easy to do when you have viral infections like a cold or a flu. You will often end up losing your appetite. Unfortunately, one reason for that is not just because you feel like crap, but because your zinc levels have plummeted due to your infection. And so you obviously will need much more zinc. Don't uh, don't avoid eat plenty of foods that are high in zinc. um, Chicken soup for colds, for example, has been a staple. However, chicken is not the highest in zinc that you can go. It will be helpful if you don't have any other options. Chicken and turkey will be helpful, but you can do much better. Red meat actually the is a really, really good source of zinc, as well as oysters. So if you can handle those, they're going to give you lots of zinc. Other seafood is also high in zinc, many other types, crab legs and so forth. So you can make sure you're getting those particular kinds of foods, and don't choose sleeping over eating. Okay, sleep plenty, eat plenty. to the best of your ability. Now, again, because you might feel like crap, might is probably an understatement. If you contract this virus, you're gonna feel like crap. You might have significant, you might struggle significantly with making sure you eat. So make sure you supplement if that is the case. Make sure you have zinc on hand. Make sure you have vitamin C on hand in the event of contracting a virus of any sort. Okay. Make sure you also have what's called L-lysine, which is an amino acid, one of the building blocks of protein. That is L-lysine. So when you go to the pharmacy, that is what you ask for, and you should take that, okay, along with your other supplements. So that's going to be super helpful. Now, this is about MERS. What's on the screen right now is specifically about MERS, okay? And it's talking about how after entering the cell, this particular virus delays the normal immune system response. And I just wanted to throw this in there because they don't fully know how this particular type of coronavirus behaves. They don't know 100% how it's going to behave. So with that, I'm just giving some information about a related virus. It can delay the normal immune system response, which can allow the infection to gain a foothold in the body. And by the time the immune system recovers in that case, the infection can progress significantly and then be much harder to fight. So this is why during times when you know that there's a possibility of contracting, a higher likelihood of contracting some type of virus, cold, flu, any type of virus, coronavirus, whatever. Obviously, cold and flu, we have quote unquote seasons for those where you can prepare yourself, prepare your body, using things that will assist when our system is not functioning at the best, optimally, when it's not optimally functioning. Okay. And I'll go over some of those. But I just wanted to mention this because, again, it can be difficult to know if you're ill with this particular virus and you don't want to have it kind of wreaking havoc on your system and not even know you have it, when you can have things going on for you that are, helpful as far as prevention, for, preventing you from catching it, and also things that will help to get rid of it, kind of stop it in its tracks. You don't want the virus to be able to replicate normally. You want to slow that down or stop it altogether. And there are things that you can do to help with that, okay? So this is just going over the symptoms. We're very familiar with most of these symptoms, especially when you have the flu. And pneumonia is not atypical in that particular situation because, again, we're dealing with your breathing. We're dealing with your lungs. Okay, so pneumonia can develop, and you want to be aware of that as well. So, again, just going over some of the basic things: wash your hands. And when it says get active, I really want it because a lot of people believe that exercise is good for the immune system. Yes, it absolutely is. However, you do not want to overexert yourself, and that's in general. You don't want to go overboard with the exercise because that can actually be stressful on a body, and stress is going to impair your immune system. So I know a lot of people are into high intensity workouts, high intensity steady state, especially. I would advise against. If you're trying to avoid something or trying to get over something, I would say absolutely do not do that. You should stick with low intensity interval or low intensity steady state. Okay, low intensity steady state or a low intensity interval only. If you already have the disease, all right, let's keep it to low intensity interval. if you must. Sometimes you might not even want to do that, and I understand because, again, going back to what I said before, get your rest. But if you're one of those folks who are like, I must get up and do some yoga, some light yoga, do some light stretching, perfectly fine. All right, walk up your stairs, up and down the stairs a couple times at the most. All right, don't overwork yourself. Your body needs to be able to do what it needs to do and not have to divert its attention to you trying to help you recover from some crazy workout you thought you needed to do. Get plenty of sleep, eat well-balanced diet. I'll go over that part in a little more depth later. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm kind of speeding things up a little bit. Decrease stress, that goes back to what I said about exercising. Do not stress yourself, okay? Trying to exercise. And then also mental stressors, just put them to the side. Avoid them at all costs. You don't have time for that. Avoid sharing. Like I said, don't share foods. Don't share stuff. Just don't share. Just be stingy. All right. Here is one of the things that you're definitely going to want to have at your disposal. You don't want to have to go to the store for this, people. Don't wait to get it. Okay. Don't say, oh, I'm not feeling good. Or I think I have a little bug. Have it already. Go to the store tonight. Go in the morning. Have it already, as well as all those supplements I said that I mentioned earlier. Don't wait. Olive leaf is great, and it doesn't have to be the extract. It can be the extract, or it can be the whole leaf powder in capsule. The powder in capsules, or you can do the tea. Whatever you can get your hands on, just make sure you have it. Okay, this is going to be very helpful for prevention and for helping you to get better faster if you catch this thing, whatever the likelihood is of that. All right. Olive leaf is very, very potent, very strong. It's helpful for the immune system. However, it has its own viral properties. Okay, it's not the strongest antiviral you can use on the planet. However, it is pretty good. Okay, now the strongest one you can use is pretty hard to get your hands on. That is called Chinese skullcap. If you can find it, great. I do have a formula that contains it, as well as other very, very beneficial new foods that are in powder form, as well as other herbs that are in powder form. And if you're interested in that, it is called the war formula, because dealing with these viruses can be a lot like going to war, and I don't play. Okay, I don't have time. I have no time for it. So if you want the formula, it is 120 capsules, and that is $25. You can always inbox me if you're interested. You can also go to www.myrebelhouse.com, or you can just skip the 3 W's and just go to myrebelhouse.com and go to the shop, and you'll find it there, myrebelhouse.com. Okay, burdock root, that is the other very helpful preventative. Okay, so just all throughout the quote unquote cold and flu season, or throughout the time when you're concerned because we're scared, coronavirus, until they tell you stop being afraid. Okay, you can use these two herbs, burdock root and olive leaf, as preventatives. They are great. All right, notice in this video you will not hear me suggesting that you take I don't even remember the name of it. Oh my God, I totally lost it. Whatever that berry stuff is, elderberry, that's it. I don't use it. I don't deal with it. I tried it once before. Oh, I can't say once. At one time in the past, I tried it, and actually I found that it interfered with my tried and true antiviral formula, and it seemed to drag the illness on a little bit. It seemed to drag the symptoms on a little bit. And I couldn't understand why initially. And then I remembered, oh, This little bugger is an immune system stimulant, and those particular things that were not something that I wanted to have to deal with for days after I no longer had the virus. Um, I, I I was finding myself dealing with like excess mucus, and I was like, gosh, this is going on forever and ever. I'm not even sick anymore. So yeah, I don't use it. I know a lot of folks love it. You don't want to go around necessarily overly stimulating your immune system when you don't need to. It does a pretty good job of handling things on its own, as long as you know you are providing it with the things that it actually needs instead of trying to artificially induce it. There are some drawbacks to that, and I won't go into it all here. However, you can go to myrebelhouse.com and check out the article or the blog post regarding cold and flu recovery. There you will also find additional information pertaining to ways you can avoid and or quickly recover from any virus, including coronavirus. I only named it, um, I only gave the name that I gave it because folks are usually looking for cold and flu uh, remedies. So that's what I named it. But it's really great for any kind of virus whatsoever. Now, this image is showing the foods that I suggest that you use or eat the most of. Okay. Lots and lots of fruits and vegetables. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. Okay. Whether you're trying to avoid catching something or you already have it and you just want to be done with it as soon as possible, again, eat. You know, say feed what is it? Feed a cold, starve or something. I don't know. Don't starve anything because you're going to be starving yourself, and your body needs to be supported so that it can do what it needs to do. Um, so we're going to eat. We're going to feed ourselves plenty of the things that will help. All right. And to the right, it's a little bit controversial depending on what you are into. So if you're vegan or vegetarian, you're not going to like that picture very much. Sorry. Actually, not sorry. These foods are going to be very helpful in recovery and prevention, along with your fruits and vegetables. Okay. Beef and salmon, these are powerhouses. When you're talking about zinc and selenium and iron, things that the body absolutely must have in sufficient quantities. You cannot go wrong with beef, and I won't get heavily into why I know for a fact all of the nonsense hype about red meat being unhealthy is just that nonsense. All right, I won't get into that right now, but if you followed me for any length of time, you already know um, at least something about the reasons why, because I speak about it frequently. Salmon is a powerhouse when it comes to selenium also, and vitamin D. All right, vitamin D is super important, and most of us are walking around vitamin D deficient, don't know it or don't care, don't think it matters. It absolutely does. All right, so you can also, if you want to, add that into the list of things that you utilize um, for as far as supplements, but don't get in the habit of just saying, oh, I took my supplement. You want to make sure you're eating these foods, because food sources are always the best sources. Always, 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 always. Your body's not going to absorb or even utilize the nutrients obtained from the supplements nearly as well as it's going to do so from the food. Okay. So supplements are just that. They're for supplementing in case of emergency, especially, or in case of inability. Say if you are unable to feed yourself properly, the foods in the sufficient quantities that are needed, go ahead, do what you have to do. All right, but don't rely on them, and if you don't have to do that. Okay, so consuming these foods that are high in zinc, lysine. Lysine is super important when you're talking about viruses. All right. This amino acid is extremely important. We hear a lot about vitamin C and zinc, but I'm going to tell you, lysine is right up there, if not higher, as far as importance as vitamin C and zinc when you're talking about viral infections, prevention, and um, recovery from those, quick recovery. That's what we want. If we get this thing, we don't want to be down for more than a few days, if that. We don't want to be down at all. But if we have to be down, we want it to go quickly. Okay, these foods on the right are high in lysine, bioavailable lysine. Let me correct that. They are high in bioavailable lysine. Every food has lysine, but these foods are highest in bioavailable lysine. Why am I saying that? Because lysine competes with another amino acid called arginine. Okay? Lysine is an amino acid that we can only get from food. We cannot make it. Our bodies can't synthesize it. And arginine is an amino acid that we have to our bodies can make it, or we can get it from food. Either way, if we're not getting enough from food, our bodies can make it. Okay, so you can go that route with the high lysine foods. You can make sure that you're getting enough. When I said they compete, what I mean is that they, if you have more of one, because I don't want to get too technical with you, if you have high amounts of one, it's going to reduce the amounts that are available of the other. So if you have a lot of arginine in your system, your lysine availability is going to automatically be lowered. All right. If you have a lot of lysine in your system, your arginine availability is going to automatically be lowered. However, we have a fail-safe for that because we make it. Our bodies make it. We do not make lysine. Lots of people talk about protein in general terms, and they clearly don't know what protein is. And they say, oh, you don't have to eat meat to get protein. Sure, you don't. But when you understand, when you break it down into its individual component parts, the individual amino acids, and you understand that the foods that are used as foods for protein to replace meat, these foods are super high, double, sometimes triple the amount of arginine in these foods compared to lysine. So although their lysine content is high, the arginine content is double or triple the lysine content. Why does it matter? Why is that bad? It is no good because arginine actually helps to quote unquote feed the virus. It prefers the arginine. Okay, you don't want to be giving it lots and lots of that, whereas lysine helps to stop the virus. It helps to prevent it from replicating itself quickly. It slows it down. Okay, so that's what you want. You don't want to be eating a lot of these foods. So these not only are they high in lysine, but they also prevent absorption of very important minerals, including zinc. So if you're eating lots of these foods, not only are you reducing your lysine availability, but you're also reducing your zinc availability. Okay? Also extremely important. You're cutting your zinc absorption down 50%, more than 50% actually, when you need that. Just because you're eating these foods with the zinc foods, and that's not what you want. All right. So again, I hope I didn't go too darn far with this video. I really just wanted to come on here and give some basic information, and all the information that I've given is good for all the different viruses, not just coronavirus. But the point is, don't be afraid of it. The likelihood of you contracting it is very low. if by some chance you do, you are not likely, unless you have a poor immune system, you're not likely to succumb to it. If you do have a poor immune system, I suggest you definitely follow everything I've said here to a T. And check out the blog post on myrebelhouse.com so that you can get additional important information. I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. I hope that you, as always, rebel well. This is Ashara Inaya. Have a great night.